That we might have to change that intro song. It's a little more upbeat. I kind of felt like I just came from the Eagles game this week.
Yeah, but given the mood of Birds fans, it was the proper intro.
Yeah, well, you're right, but we got to do something about that. But talk to the people real quick before we get into this. I think we're gonna have to do a eulogy.
It's not a eulogy. It's just
it's a eulogy. Okay. We're gonna do a eulogy today.
Okay, we'll do a eulogy. Well, let me tell you about Royal Billiards Recreation. It was established in 1982. They're celebrating 41 years, actually 42 now, of being the ultimate place for your man cave and your game room desires. Things like pool tables, shuffleboards, bars, and kitchen stools, along with that King's Throne, in which I enjoy so much. They also have bar tables, and let's not forget the hot tubs to soothe your muscles and whatnot, and video games. And don't forget Marty. Marty is always there for you to hand him a treat. You can find these things at 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, Pennsylvania, 18915, or go on to royalbilliards.com. Tell them that you heard it on A2D Radio and the Tank sent you.
Yes. That's some good stuff right there. We got some more good stuff to you. Carlino's, yes, Italian market. My gosh, my goodness. They have 41 years of business, family business, started back in 1983 with Mama Carlino, her husband, Nicola. Now it's handed over to Pat and Angela. You ask for them when you get there, County Line Road in Ardmore. It is an Italian market. They are number one in the world as far as I'm concerned. They've got some things that you can get there that you can't get anywhere else. Meats, sauces, pastas, cakes, wine. Yeah, it's not Italian if it's not wine. Soups, yeah, soups. Thanks, big dog. and soups. Listen, Carlino's, it's a great Italian market. You got to get there. County Line Road in Ardmore. They're second to none, and they treat everybody like they're somebody. Carlino's.
Don't forget that Meat Lovers Pizza and the dessert.
Did you have that made specially for you? Meat Lovers Pizza?
It was delicious. I don't know. It was delicious though.
I don't think you eat too many things that aren't delicious. And the way you say it, when you find something you like, or you're eating something, or you're somewhere in some restaurant, the way you just say it, man, makes it sound better, delicious.
Well, when it comes to the table, everybody, it's like every time I order some food, everybody's trying to reach on my plate. I don't play that. That's why I tell you to order what you want, what you desire.
Homie don't play that.
Yeah, it's like every time I'm somewhere, somebody will be like, "Man, yours looks so much better than ours because I picked what I knew was going to be tasty."
There you go.
You're out here trying things.
Well, sound like the Eagles out there trying things.
Yeah, and backstage it was like, but before we came on, we were saying that, and I wanted your true
reaction.
Reaction because I actually went into the game this time.
You went to the game? You were down there and you actually went into the game?
Yeah, I actually went into the game.
Normally when we go on the trips like that, we're done before the game with the tailgate and all. We go home or go to the room and watch on TV.
It was like, so I went into the game, and it was a lot of Eagles fans there, but what I realized was everybody was expecting them to lose. And then, and this is what I want to get your take on. I think everybody walked away from the TV, and a lot of people cut the TV off when we got our first offensive series, and it came out in the spread formation. Mm-hmm. Now, I was told by many people that they cut the game off and went to the Flyers and the 76ers game.
Wow.
And they did. They probably did right because it caused a lot. It's like when you look at the grand scheme of things, they continually. That's why I put on the Super Genius shirt today, because they continue to do the same things over and over and over. It was another wide receiver screen in the game. The defense looking complete and utter disarray. Woo. And the one thing that I was by the third quarter, I was at the bar at the hotel writing Jim Johnson's defenses up, showing how we could be better. And I was like, that's how bad it was. But the thing that resonated with me, because everybody asked the same question, is they asked, what did I think was wrong? I think the fact that I don't think the guys who were playing believed in the defense and the offense coordinator scheme because it hadn't been working. Mm-hmm. And they hadn't been working in a dominating fashion like they were used to.
Right.
And when you don't believe in something, you hesitate. And that hesitation can be the difference between a sack versus a quarterback hit. The quarterback hit being the quarterback got the ball off and it's possibly a touchdown or a first down, and you're on the hook for another 3 downs. And then also you're running the same crap that you've been running offensively throughout the year. We had 10 touches by one of the most dynamic backs in the NFL.
Just 10.
Just 10
ridiculous.
touches.
When they played that same exact team, and they were 2 different teams from week 3 to last week, which was the wild card weekend. They were 2 different teams. Obviously, the Eagles lost 5 of the last 6, and Tampa Bay won 5 of the last 6. So they were 2 different teams. But at the same time, they ran the ball, and Swift gained 130 yards on the ground. We ran the ball for over 200 yards. The Eagles did against Tampa Bay in week 3. So when they started out with those first 2 runs, as I was saying earlier when we were off the air, I thought that they were going to go ahead and run the ball.
But I thought that too. But one that I was sitting next to an Eagle fan because I was in the club box, and when I had found I always found the most comfortable place that had a big screen TV
with a fan, and a fan,
and people were bringing me my drinks and my food and stuff, and it was like so. After he got it was one case, he got carried, and he got a few yards. He said he's not going to get the ball again until the third quarter, and he didn't touch that ball again until middle of the third quarter. I was like, wow, and that's how predictable we are. It's
if somebody in the box can predict that, then I'm sure these smart defensive geniuses can guess that.
Now, what's the agree to disagree question? Because
throw it up there, Ralph. The agree to disagree is Nick Sirianni has got to go. Do you agree or disagree?
Mine is twofold.
Okay.
I know he's having a meeting with them today. If he's not willing to change his staff, because I think when you become a head coach, you try to get a staff that you trust.
Right.
I was like, so if he's not willing to change pretty much all his staff, because there were some rumblings about some things about Matt Patricia, about the race issue. I heard that's why Slade didn't like him when he was in Detroit.
Okay.
But it was also some rumblings about that when he was in New England. So where there's smoke, there's fire. You can't have that on the team. And then not only that, none of the stuff worked. You saw that they didn't believe. You saw that they did. When you don't believe, when you can tell when the team doesn't believe in something, and the amount of talent on this squad, we win it in spite of what you were doing, and then they don't believe in something because everybody else has your number. It showed in that game that we just played. So you have to get rid of because everybody still loves Nick, but it's the guys that under him, and if he's not willing to let those guys go and rebuild his coaching staff, which I heard he's willing to do, then he needs to go.
Well, I think what you're saying is valid, and it's valid at a high level, meaning the players and how they're performing, and performing the way they're performing is a result of the fact that they don't trust what the coaches have installed. They don't trust what the coaches are trying to do, the position they're putting them in. I said this a couple of weeks ago that they're putting. The coaches, in my mind, are putting the players out there in a gunfight, and they're only giving them a knife, butter knife. And you really have to be really on top of your P's and Q's with your positioning, your play calling, your blitzing, whatever it is you're going to do on defense, because on the second and third level of defense, which is the linebackers and the defensive backs, we're really weak in those areas talent-wise. So you really had to have yourself together and put those cats in position to do what they can do best. And so when Matt Patricia was named the defensive coordinator after the team was already 10-3, 10 wins, 3 losses, it was a shock to a lot of people. Yeah. I think that the players on the team also began to question what is going on here, because we are 10-3. Right. Things hadn't totally fallen apart with them yet, but that's when they actually started going downhill at turbo speed. Yeah. Because when Matt Patricia started calling defensive plays, that's when the defense really began to fall apart. He began to put Bradbury in position to cover one-on-one with wide receivers across the field. He can't do that. He's not capable of doing that. And that exposed him. Last year they played.
He's a man under principle type of guy.
Well, last year they played more zone. That's what he did when he was in with the Giants. He played zone.
Yeah, but he's a when I say zone, when I say man under, that means he's got somebody over the top of him.
Right.
And zone. It's like, but when you look at it, it was Slade. I think Slade described it the best when he said that it was like having two girlfriends. One wants a foot rub and one wants a back rub. And I was like, wow. I was like, yeah. I was like, when you put it like that, it's just
But that's a coaching, like you said, that's a coaching issue. Now
he didn't put it in place to win.
Well, right. Do we need to make some changes personnel wise defensively? Yes. I agree with that. And yes, I'm emphatic about that. That needs to definitely happen, whether it's the draft, whether it's free agent, linebackers. Our first move needs to be a linebacker or two. Our next move needs to be some defensive backs, safeties, corner. Well, I think some of the younger corners that we have might be okay next year if we get some help with the linebacker position, get some help at the safety position.
And it depends. It depends on what they do. It's like you have to put quality competition at every position. So if you're able to garner and get corner, you get it because to me, nobody's on this team has done anything for us not to go out and get the best players available. Defensively, yeah.
Because offensively, we're talented still on offense. There's a couple of positions. Obviously, if Kelsey retires, did he determine he's retiring?
And you said this. We need a third receiver, a real third receiver. We need a speedster, like you said. That sometimes you can run. That everybody's afraid of their speed. We don't have that. Don't have that at all. It's like somebody run a jet sweep with. Somebody to truly run the wide receiver screen with. We don't have that guy.
No.
And somebody just said it out of this movie said it best. We do need a better offense coordinator.
Well, yeah, but we're going to get to that in a minute. But my explanation of what I'm going to say is why we need to get that, because on offense, like we just said, there's not a lot of changes that need to take place personnel wise, because we have the talent on offense, but we have a problem with the game planning. We have a problem with the play calling. We have a problem with what's being installed offensively. And that's why this offense has just staggered and stumbled and been stymied the way it has been, particularly the last 7 games of the season, because of the play calling and what they're installing. Particularly when you talk about every team's going to blitz. Every team you face in the NFL is going to blitz. More of them, some blitz more than others, but they strategically blitz. They're going to blitz because they want to put pressure on the quarterback. And you have to, as an offense in the NFL, you have to have an answer for the blitz. When you look at guys like Tom Brady couldn't run. Mm-hmm. He couldn't run, but guess what? Teams didn't blitz him. You know why? Because they had an answer for the blitz.
Sight adjustment.
Yes, sir. Sight adjustments. Sight adjustments.
Speaking of sight adjustments, you got the hats.com. You got to pay some bills. Hats.com is coming up.
Okay, I was going to get excited. I'll read the hats.com. Let me get this.
I think it's a video, though.
No, it's not a video. It's me. It's my read.
Go ahead.
Hats.com read. Did you read it? It says read.
Okay, I just read it. Go ahead. Have at it.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more. Yes, I'm reading this, with designs for every style and trend, locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics. I'm sure they're grieving right now like we are over the Philadelphia Eagles. We're doing a eulogy. Hats.com can help you elevate your hat, John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at hats.com to find your perfect size and style. Guess what? Shipping and returns are free. Can't beat that, y'all. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com. That's it.
That's it. We're back.
We're back. So yeah, man, it's just, I mean, how you can they're 0-4 on third down.
Well, okay, so that's what I was going to tell you. Peep this. So they gained a total of an entire game on third down, 14 yards. They were 0 forever.
0 forever.
Ever.
0 for 9. 0 for 9.
Like,
yeah.
It's like it was no way. It was like, and then you see the missed tackles. They gave up 189 plus yards after contact defensively.
After catch, it was 219 yards after the catch. They gave up 219 yards after the catch.
I stopped watching at 189.
Oh, you stopped watching it? Yeah. Listen, Trey Palmer,
yeah,
he had a 5-yard hitch
that went to the house.
That a 6-yard hitch to turn into a 56-yard touchdown catch and run. Ridiculous.
Now,
I mean, ridiculous.
If you want to know something, that was the epitome of giving up. That was right
guys
there.
running into each other, falling over one another. Yeah. Like you said, not talking, not communicating, not knowing what's going on schematically in the defensive backfield. It was hard. It was horrific.
What scheme?
It was horrific.
What scheme? It was like you didn't put your player in the position to win. And it's like that, and then there's no fault but the coaches. I was like, we could dwell up. We had a young defensively. We had to have a young team. And it's like you have to, when you have a young team and you have the athletic ability of some of the guys on there, sometimes you have to be like, go get him. You remember, hold on, you remember, can't think, remember when we was coaching in Robbinsville and the one kid, you told me that these kids have special needs. Like, I know. Yeah. Remember the one kid I told, he was so enamored with me, all I had to do was tell him what to do. And he would go out there and do it. That's all. If you have somebody that truly wants to play football, you have to just tell them to go do this. And then what I told the secondary with Charlie, I say we play. I got him. So it's no excuse of who I got.
Right. Just talk.
The communication is the key defensively.
Right.
We saw none of that. And it's like I was looking at some of the stuff, and it's like the angles that they were taking on
that's fundamental football. Exactly, you got to take. You can't, if he's there, you can't run there to catch him when he's going there.
Yeah, I know. You got to run on the angle. That's what the geometry and all the algebra and stuff with the angles and whatnot helped me out in my angles of running, because it's like, and then also you have to have pursuit drills in practice. I know sometimes people feel like
which they don't do because they can't be on the field more than an hour, more than 2 hours.
I know, but it's the way you can walk through that stuff. It's like the thing though that I think that's being messed up is that I think people think that just because you're pros, you don't need to work on your basic fundamentals. And you see that rareness ugly your head, especially throughout our defense.
Oh yeah, you see it some across the league.
Oh yeah, all across the league.
You see across the league.
I was talking because somebody asked me who was I pulling for now. I was like, no damn body.
Right.
Like, oh, you can't give a
the
damn.
Eagles aren't playing anymore. Yeah. Well, let me explain from the all. And like I said, defensively, okay, we lack talent on defense. That's no excuse, like you said, for proper coaching. That's no excuse for putting these guys in, knowing who your players are and making sure you put them in a position to do what they can do.
Do what they do best.
And not try to ask them to do something that they cannot do physically, athletically cannot do. So that's on the coaches. Offensively, this is why the OC's got to go. And this is why, in my opinion, and I'm not an advocate for anybody losing their job. I'm not. But I'm also a fan of the Eagles, and I also know incompetence when I see it. And
he ain't your friend. Go ahead and say it.
Right. And Sirianni needs to go. Sirianni needs to go. On the offensive side, and this came to a head, in my opinion. This came to a head. What I'm getting ready to say, when Jalen Hurts, this was the worst thing I've ever seen him do. When he got sacked in the end zone for the safety, that was the dumbest, the worst play I've ever seen him run or respond to.
Right.
But at that point, that's when the light went off in my head, because it was a blitz. It was only a 4-man rush. That was only a 4-man rush. But prior to that, they were doing, putting a lot of guys up on line of scrimmage, outnumbering our offensive linemen. And they had some zero blitz looks. And Jalen's standing back there in the gun, no backs with him back there. They're at a zero blitz look. Everybody's coming. He knows they're outnumbered. We're outnumbered up front. He knows he's got to get rid of the ball, but he also knows that those guys are not going to break their routes off. They're going to go 12, 15 yards down the field. So he knows that when he gets the ball, he has to wait, but he can only wait so long because somebody's coming free.
Yeah.
And that throws everything off. That throws everything off. And how can he have confidence in that? Because he's already skewed before the ball is ever snapped, because he knows this play is not going to work. Why? Because we don't have an answer for it. And why don't we have an answer for it? Because the coaches didn't put anything like this in that we need. That's the coach's fault. That's a part of the reason, and a big part of the reason why the talented offense that the Eagles possess, all that talent, why they cannot move the ball. All you have to do is blitz them, because they don't have an answer for the blitz, because the coaches didn't put anything in.
You know, the funny part about that too is this is a copycat league. And since when I think it was since the Cowboys have been doing that and the 49ers have been doing that, everybody has put that in their repertoire when they played us. And so it's like,
Todd Bowles going to blitz anyway. That's what he does. He's been doing that for years.
Well, yeah, but then there was just like the zero blitzes. It's like it's they coming. So it's just like it was just the fact that they didn't have any side adjust routes or any hot routes. And the funny part is that when you could pan back on the camera when they were doing some of the blitzes, you could see none of the receivers were even turning around.
No, they
weren't. He was in trouble. They weren't like he was pump faking because he was, but nobody was turning around. Which means
to me, again, they're not being taught correctly, because if I'm a wide receiver, the way we were taught, I'm watching my side. I'm watching the corner on my side. I'm watching the safety on my side. I'm watching the linebacker on my side, and even the defensive end on my side. And when I take my first step or make my first move as I'm looking inside, if they all disappear, I got to break my route off. So the receivers are running down the field. Like you said, they're not looking back because they're not being taught to look back. They're not being taught to read the blitz. And that's on the coaches. Now I've heard some of the sports experts, we laugh at the sports experts. Yeah, some of the sports experts say that, well, Jalen Hurts ought to, if he knows that's what's going on, then he ought to, just tell them to break it off, or receivers need to see it and break it off. No, if they're not coached to do that, they're not going to do it. I never did. I never did do something on my own. I did what the coaches told me to do. I ran the plays the way they were supposed to be run. I never improvised myself unless there were some plays that I was allowed to improvise, meaning I had to make my improvisation quick. So if on a blitz route, so to speak, if the corner was off and I was supposed to run a slant, okay, I could run a slant if it's a blitz. But if the corner was playing press and I couldn't get inside, then I could run a fade on my blitz route and even throw the ball quick.
Got a quick question for you. What if you're out at receiver and you hear your quarterback say, check, black 200 dragon?
That's a slant.
I know.
That's a slant and quick outs.
I know that was the first thing I learned in the pros.
That's the first thing that's the sign of a dragon. Yeah, that's the West Coast dragon.
Well, yeah, because it was Rodney Pete was the quarterback.
Yes, sir.
He got mad because like the third day of practice I learned what it was.
And you read it.
Well, I started blocking his pass.
But then we had another check with which we did the same thing, which is called something else. But yeah, you got to have those, and that's the coach's fault. So yeah, these coaches, and again, look at what they did last year. Look at what happened this year. Again, with the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I know they're gone, they're head coaches now, but they made a big difference. It was them last year, making sure this team was playing up to par, making sure all the talent was being used and utilized at its highest level. And Sirianni was just a manager. That's all he was.
The funny thing too is I was talking about there was only 6 players that we didn't have. You also were missing Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph.
Right. Yeah. They came in. Yeah.
So their rotation they had was epic and legendary.
Yeah.
That helps the interior a lot. And it's just like
and they didn't necessarily come in and blow things up, but they were able to come and maintain at least.
They were able to help us stuff up the run. They were pocket crushers to help out with the defensive ends. We didn't get none of that. We depended on the young guys, and then the one young guy, Jordan Davis, got chubby.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jalen Carter. He was showing some nastiness in his last game.
He's gonna be a beast. Him and Devontae Smith, about the only 2 cats were out there on the field fighting.
Yeah, and it's sad to see. But when the one thing that when I was watching the game, it was just like it was no life in the Eagles fans because they knew what was going to happen.
Right.
It's like it was like you, and then it's then to hear, I just get rid of the coaching staff.
You gotta get rid of them. Let me give you another reason. This is more proof why the coaching staff has to go. Do you remember last year the name of the defensive backs coach for the Eagles?
What was that?
His name is Denard Wilson.
Right.
Denard Wilson. Mm-hmm. You know where Denard Wilson is now?
Defensive coordinator somewhere else, isn't he?
He's the defensive backs coach for the Ravens.
Oh.
And guess where the Ravens defensive backs or pass game is rated? Number one in the league. Guess what the defensive pass rating for the Eagles last year was going into the Super Bowl? They were the number 1 pass defense in the league.
Yeah.
It's coaching.
Coaching.
It's coaching. And that in and of itself proves it. He got them boys balling down there in Baltimore.
Well, yeah, look at Dirty One down in Cowgirl land.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We got another video.
We got a video coming up pretty soon. Play some bills. Here we go.
We got a video coming up now. Yeah. Right now.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
So, Big Dog, what's going on? Yo, we are back. Big Dog, so we got a bunch of people on watching right now. Pete Evans and Joyce Belcher, Sean Young. That says Hollis Thomas. Hello, Joyce. That's you. Vinny Capriati's in the house. JD Stroll, Pro Fan Talk. That's Marcus. So, listen, you all who are listening right now, tell us, do you think the coaching staff needs to go? Do you think Syria, because they're talking about, again, these are the sports experts, which I don't agree with. They're talking about keeping Sirianni and getting rid of, well, obviously the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator got to go. They both got to go. Yeah, but they're talking about bringing in new offensive coordinators, new defensive coordinator, and keeping Sirianni, which I don't think is going to be right. I don't think that's going to turn this thing around because
turn around how? It's like you won 11 games. I mean, it's like you won 11 games. You just need some strong coaching, like some strong coaches to mold your defense and to convey your message of a heart of kick-ass type offense with big playability.
Right, but like somehow, some way, they weren't able, after other teams who were lesser teams went through their turbulent times during the season and turning around. The Eagles weren't able to do that. And it's not so much that they lost, Big Dog, to me. It's how they lost.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But I think you were right, though, after that it's like after they changed the side at defensive coordinator, it seemed like it's like nobody knew which way we were going. And
it got worse.
It got worse. And then the thing that I'm just realizing, too, is even though we were getting our ass handed to us on occasion defensively, what
do you mean occasion?
Hold on. Let me finish. It's like,
okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
At the end of the season, we were told to get our ass handed.
Right. Oh, okay.
Up until that point, when you went in at halftime, and he came back out, seemed as though he had to try to right the ship, and he made it possible for us to get back in the games. Mm-hmm. But then after they switched, it seemed like when we came back at halftime, it was more ass whooping in the first half.
Right.
It's just like, and that's all I'm saying. It's like, so I think that with them switching up like that and doing that type of thing, it was god awful. But it's like the thing that I do know that it's up to Nick on how the meeting goes with them today.
That's why he's got to go, because it starts with him.
Well, no, it's like, I know it does start with him, but if he's not willing to change, then he's got to go. If he's not willing to make the changes because that's when if you ask Doug say when they was trying to control his staff, and he just said, he's like, you know what, he gave him his plan to keep certain guys that they weren't on the same page with, and they parted ways with him. So that's why I say it's up to Nick, because they're going to clean house coaching wise, because the product that they put out on the field after the 10-1 start, the product after that is stinking up the joint.
Well, Patricia, he has this history of being this
mad scientist.
mad scientist, Bill Belichick disciple, defensive guru. But then when he comes in and starts installing his defense, he's got Hassan Reddick dropping back in coverage. He never did that last year. Never did that last year because that's not what he does. That's not his strength. His strength is rushing the quarterback and sacking the quarterback, putting pressure on the quarterback, wreaking havoc in that offensive backfield. That's what he does best. He looked. I watched a couple of times when he dropped back. He looked totally uncomfortable, man.
He looked lost.
He couldn't.
It's kind of like when he did it. If you go back to when
he had no back pedal. He had no back pedal.
No back pedal. When they first did it, if you go back to it, he did an interview and they were asking him he's like, I'm just doing what the coaches asked me to do. And it's like he didn't have any. It's like he didn't have enthusiasm, and it reminded me. We had a blitz where they had Hugh Douglas dropping to the curl flat, and he said, "Y'all better hurry up and get there because I don't feel comfortable out there."
But then again, he's doing something not that he really feels, like you said, being comfortable doing. So therefore, he doesn't have confidence doing it. So therefore, it's not going to get done at a high level.
Well, the part where. The part that I loved about Jim was he was just giving the illusion. See, if you flash color to the quarterback and he's blitzing, and you flash that color in front of him, he's going to pull it down and then try to go somewhere else.
Right. Well, he was.
If you have absolutely nothing there, then he's just going to throw it over there.
Yeah, to create a certain kind of picture.
Right.
What Matt Patricia's doing, he's expecting Hassan Reddick to drop back and cover somebody and
Saquon Barkley, dude.
Saquon Barkley for real.
I was livid when I saw that. I was like, the thing that and nobody's saying it either is we didn't use our defensive weapons the way we should have. You have some linebackers who can't cover that well.
Right.
Well, you give them an assignment. Go get the quarterback now.
Mm-hmm.
Go give them a gap and let them attack it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like because if you don't attack and force the issue, you get what we lost to Drew Lock, dude.
Drew Lock. No, we lost to Baker Mayfield.
We lost to
32-9, bro.
At least Baker Mayfield's won a Heisman. We lost to Tyrod Taylor.
This is not college football. Baker Mayfield hasn't done anything in his 6 years in the NFL.
He's won a playoff game.
Okay, he just did.
Cleveland. In Cleveland.
Oh, in Cleveland. Okay, well, but he wasn't starting. And Baker Mayfield, my opinion of him over the years. I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan.
No,
but my opinion over him is about him is that he's not a starting quarterback. He's not a quarterback that's going to take his team to the promised land. But he is a legitimate NFL backup quarterback who can come in if your starter goes down and hold it down for 2 or 3 games and not, lose all 3. That's the kind of quarterback I see Baker Mayfield as. And if you pressure him, if you make him rush a little bit, he will make bad decisions and will snowball and continue to make bad decisions. But we never did that. Those 2 games, the 2 games they played before they played the Eagles this past week in the wild card weekend. They played against Carolina, the worst team in the league. They ain't scored a touchdown. And against New Orleans the week before that. And they were horrible against New Orleans.
They were.
And that Carolina game was a game they had to have in order to get to the playoffs. And they squeaked by. Oh, they're going to get their behinds whoop when they go to Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
The fairy tale is over.
Yeah. That Robert says Sirianni stand is a terrible idea. It is, but you're not going to get a coach with pedigree to come to if you keep keeping Howie Roseman, you're only going to get the first time coaches. And
because Howie wants to be able to control what he wants to control, meaning he wants to make the draft choices. He doesn't want a coach telling him what players to pick. He wants control like that. And I've heard talk of Bill Belichick coming in here.
No,
Bill Belichick ain't coming here.
He's on his second interview with the Falcons. The one thing that I will tell you is like we can say they're gonna be stubborn all they want to, but the formula which they got working now is one Super Bowl and took them to another. We can argue as much as we want, but they're not going to change. That's how he's going to be the one lasting piece there at all times. And I think though, it's got to be something said for when you want to coach with some pedigree, but you have to get some coordinators in here who command respect and attention to detail.
One coordinator that is out there that people are not. I just heard Ike Reese talk about him today on WIP that nobody had been talking about, but I've been screaming about is Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah,
he would. Can you imagine him with these weapons we have on offense?
Run the ball down people though.
What?
Running the jet sweep, running the jet sweep.
And guess what? He is available. Because that staff is getting ready to get broken up
down
there in Washington.
You know who else is available for defense coordinator?
He's not going to be touted as a head coach this year. Why? Because Washington didn't win, so he's still got to find an offensive coordinator job. Man, that's the perfect. I think that's the perfect fit.
You know who else is who's available? Who just got fired from DC?
Who?
Riverboat Ron, one of the best defensive coordinators known to man.
Ron Rivera, yeah. Bring them both.
And Mike Caldwell.
Mike Caldwell, that's right. Mike Caldwell, defensive coordinator, who played linebacker for the Eagles, yeah,
because they use him as a scapegoat in Jacksonville.
Right.
You turn the ball over 4 or 5 times, and then your quarterback throws a crappy pass.
That's not the defensive coordinator's fault.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
you only lose 28-20. I don't see that as being the defensive coordinator's fault.
Yeah, but Ron Rivera, he could come in and be a defensive man. That would be,
that'd be vicious.
That would be vicious. Rivera as the defensive coordinator, Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator. Man, I would love to see that. Nobody's mentioning Bieniemy. They're talking about all these other offensive coordinators that are available.
We got
one right down the road. He can be here in 2 hours.
If you look at our squad, we need some discipline and guidance.
And you know what? That's what Bieniemy will bring, because he's old school. Ron Rivera the same way, because he came out. He and I were the same class coming out into the NFL, and they were complaining. Some of the Commanders players were complaining about how demanding Bieniemy was during the season. They said he was too demanding. I heard that, and I'm like, what is wrong with these players today? These athletes today?
Well, because haters can't stand us. They are commanders. I saw that video, dude.
Do that again, big dog.
I saw that video. It was a hype song when they first switched the name, and I was scrolling on Twitter, and all of a sudden it was like these old dudes who looked like they should have been playing Irving and Fryar, and then the break was haters can't stand us. We are command. I was like, you've got to be shitting me. Man,
haters can't stand us. We got another commercial.
Yes, we do.
This. We're gonna come back with this. All right, go ahead, Ralph. Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com. We're back in the house. You know what? It's very frustrating, but it's really sad, man, what has happened from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. We started out the beginning of the season, we trying to, they're gonna be 14-3, 13-4, they're gonna win the NFC East and go on to the Super Bowl because they got this, they got that, they filled in with this, and things just started to crumble, man. And it's sad. It's really sad. I'm upset, a little upset from a fan's point of view. The season is over now. You're not upset after today. We're not going to really be talking about the Eagles anymore. We'll be talking about their moves and stuff like that, and things they're doing to get ready for next year.
No, but hold on. You're not upset that the season's over. Once they start doing the crap that they was doing.
Well, yeah, I'm glad I don't have to watch that stuff anymore.
Well, it's like everybody who I talked to and who I was speaking with, they're like, I'm glad it's over because I don't know if I could have took another week of that crap.
Yeah, man.
They
just prolonged it in the playoffs. They just prolonged it.
The first time you hear something, and you're enamored by the words that are said. So in the immortal words of James Sheldon Hurd, my defensive line coach in college, we just watched a bunch of hogwash. I was like, It's like, what the hell is hogwash? You remember, I'm from the city, so when he said hogwash, I thought he was going to say bush sugar honey iced tea. Yeah, but he said hogwash. I was like, oh,
well, in the words
hogwash.
of the one of the winningest coaches in NFL history, Lord rest his soul, Don Shula would say it like this: "We just pissed up a rope."
Yep.
That's how he said. We pissed up a rope. That's what he put his fingers up like that. We pissed up a rope. That's like, sorry, coach. But yeah, it's man, it's just sad. It's a shame. And my gut says this, big dog. My gut says this, that if they don't clean house and get the right people in here to coach, because obviously the people that are here are not the right people to coach this team. And if they don't get some linebackers, if they don't make some changes in the secondary personnel wise, this team is going to be worse next year than it was this year, meaning they're not going to go 10-1 and then start losing. They're going to be losing right from the beginning, and they're going to struggle to win games all season long next year. The window that I talked about at the beginning of the season, I said because of where this team has come from, since Sirianni's been there, they made the playoffs his first year, lost to Tampa Bay. Second year as a head coach, he goes to the Super Bowl, only loses by 3 points. They kept most of the talent on offense, or all of the talent on offense, and filled in some spots that they lost talent on defense. I thought at the beginning of the season, this season, and the next 3 or 4 years was a window that would be open for them, where they would have the opportunity to make a run maybe a couple of times for the Super Bowl. But that window's shut now, man. And I don't think
the window's shut.
It's shut.
Hold on. I think it depends on what they do, coaching staff wise, as far as like getting some actual people in here to coach. It also depends on what they do linebacker wise and safety wise. You have to at some point you have to get off the quit not drafting linebackers properly. I was like, you're not. It's not going to happen. Even the ones we had during the Super Bowl run was good. They were good. Yeah, they were good. But again, we had a big fall off, and who we thought would come in and do a decent job. Yeah, they played. It was horrific. They were terrible. No, and some of it had to do with, offensive minds, offensive coordinators, seeing what we were not capable of doing in terms of linebackers and safeties and corners, and game planning to hit us in our weak areas. Now, I guess something off beat. I was just text something. It's some dude that's been some dude. Say his name. Who is it? It's McCormick. He's been in. Have you heard about McCormick? He's a tight end for the Miami Hurricanes. He's going into his 9th season. His 9th season where? In college. I thought that's what you meant, but I wasn't sure whether or not you. I thought you said 9. His 9th season in college. Wow. He's got hashtag resilience. Go Canes. I was like, resilience? I was like, you're a grown man playing with kids. And he's proud of that, too, isn't he? Yeah, and he hashtag resilience. How old is he? How old is he now? 25, 26? He's got to be older than that. He's been in school 9 years. Oh, 9 years? So he's got to be 27, 28. Yeah, something like that. How you do that? With the way they doing stuff nowadays, I don't know. Is he getting any NIL money? But probably not. If you've been in there for 9 years, that means he's not that good. Well, he's doing something for him to be able to hang around for 9 years, man. He got something figured out. Well, if they probably kept giving him years. I don't know. At some point, somebody got to say something. I've never heard of such a thing in any of my time. I'm 61 years old, and I've never heard of anyone football-wise being in college for 9 years. He's about to be 26. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's like you said, man playing with boys, teenagers. Yeah. It's like Danny Watkins when he was at Baylor. Like, look at how he's mashing. What that 12th grader? Yeah. He's 26. He's been a fireman. So, all right. So let's say this, and then after we finish this, we'll continue this. Looking back and looking forward with the Eagles over the next. We'll do that all off season. But just off the top of your head, real quick, and then we're going to talk about which game this weekend you think is the one we need to watch. So
And-
hold on. So Ralph, my esteemed colleague Ralphie, just alerted me that he was in the same recruiting class as Jalen Hurts.
Ralph, he was in the same. Get out of here!
Dear God.
Wow. Yeah, he's been around for a while. He's an old nut in college.
Yeah, but it's like they talk about. I was like talk about resilience. It's like somebody just put up about this. I was like, yeah, but he don't just because when you get hurt, you don't get to keep playing.
Resilient. He a stick in mud. He's stuck. He's not going.
And Nick Bosa, good God.
And Nick Bosa, same thing. Wow.
Oh God, he needs his ass kicked for beating up on kids.
Thanks, Ralph. We didn't know you were a statistician too. Statistician. How do you say it? Statistician or statistician? Which one is it? Somebody.
A research guy.
Research. Okay, that's a good answer. All right, research guy. I'm sorry. We didn't know you had all the stats back there, Ralphie. But next time we'll call on you and you can throw them up. That's cool. We're good, bro. So, in your opinion, Big Dog, what needs to happen with the Eagles first? What's the first thing that needs to happen to make it look like, or at least give us a breath of fresh air, put a smile on our face, have a positive attitude about going into next year, going into the offseason and next year?
Firing the 3 coordinators. I know you said 3: Patricia, Brian Johnson, and decide you gotta part ways with them. And then you just got to clean house on the coaching staff, because just like you said, we had a good coach here last year. They had our DBs on point.
But is that the norm when it comes to coaches? Meaning you fire the whole staff and keep the head coach and bring in a new staff? Does that happen, or you fire the head coach and the staff
remember we're dealing with a different type thing here. They control his staff.
I understand that.
So if he goes in there trying to control the staff, they're going to get rid of him too.
Right.
So
then it won't be a problem because they control the staff. He's not the one that picked the staff in the first place.
He's going to make some calls and give them some suggestions to some people that he knows. So if he's smart, he better call Bieniemy. Yeah, he better call Bieniemy. So it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds, especially after the meeting. I'm laughing that Robert says, "Get rid of Hurts. He sucks." Get out of here, Robert.
I think Jalen took a step backwards this year, but it had to do more with coaching because he didn't lose his talent. I do think his knee still bothers him.
Yeah, I think there's some other stuff wrong with him as well. Well, because when your knee start bothering you, start compensating.
Right,
and then some other stuff,
right.
Other things start hurting.
So physically, he wasn't 100%, but he's a tough guy, and he was playing at 100%. And 75% or 70% Jalen Hurts is better than 100% Marcus Mariota any day. So I think that's a part of what was going on with him. But it was also the play calling did not put Jalen Hurts and the offense, and it all starts with Jalen, the offense. Yeah. It did not put them in a position to succeed. The offensive play calling was way too vanilla. The offensive play calling this year lacked creativity. The offensive play calling didn't have, and this is very important, didn't have an answer, built-in answer for the blitz. That's something that we install day 1 and day 2 in training camp.
Yeah, you install that because your defense has a max blitz.
Right. Like, you gotta know how, and what that does, that deters teams from blitzing. That's why teams didn't blitz that much against Tom Brady. Not because Tom Brady could run, but because Tom Brady knew how to answer the blitz.
Yeah, side adjust. And they were cheating, so
and our answer for the blitz came down to Jalen trying to run out of the pocket. He wouldn't step up in the pocket, trying to run out of the pocket.
He couldn't step up in the pocket because on max blitzes, they're coming up the gut.
They're coming. It's all jammed up in there. Yeah. Yep. So he can't step up. So he's got to be able to deliver the ball as soon as he gets it. And there's guys are running down the field with their backs turned to him. There's nowhere for him to throw the ball to. There's nowhere for him to run. So he runs left or right. That's why he ended up getting sacked. It's just, it's a coaching mess. And that's why Jalen went backwards this year. Now, before we start condemning Jalen, let's see what happens during the offseason. Let's see what kind of coaches they get in here. And let's see what happens next year.
Let's see what kind of surgeries he's got to have.
Well, yeah, people are waiting for word to see if he's going to have knee surgery or something like that.
He's probably going to have to get it cleaned out.
If he's going to get it cleaned out, he's going to do that in the next couple of days. He's not going to wait a long time. He needs to hurry up and do it so he can get back on track and heal up. Yeah. So, all right, big dog, you got some. We're going to go to our picks for the weekend. Or our favorite game. Again, we're looking forward to watching because we're not going to be watching the Eagles. But before we do that, give us some history, big dog.
Okay, I got this day in history with Hollis Thomas is brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. Go to phillysportstrips.com and pick. You would have been able to pick some Eagles game, but right now we're on to the Flyers, the 76ers, and the Phillies. We have spring training. We got a spring training trip coming up, and we have the Flyers are doing the Stadium Series. They play the New Jersey Devils. Go to phillysportstrips.com and hit trips and tell them the tank sent you. Also, phillysportshirts.com is where you can hit the vetted tab and go to get a vetted t-shirt or become part of the Damn Skippy Club. Today is January the 18th, 2024. It's the 18th day of the year. There's 348 of these puppies remaining. We'll start with the national holidays. Today is National Maintenance Day, Get to Know Your Customer Day, Gourmet Coffee Day.
All right.
It's also Perking Duck Day. I don't
know what duck?
Perking. It's like I guess it's the way they cook a duck. Because when I was looking at the picture, I guess they were you get to roast a duck and eat it today. I guess. Today is also
with some orange sauce, a little orange sauce.
Probably. Yeah. Today is also Winnie the Pooh Day because today is in 1882.
You know that song?
Which one?
Winnie the Pooh.
No.
You don't know the Winnie the Pooh song?
No, I just know that it's A. Milner's birthday.
Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, chubby little cubby all stuffed with fluffies. Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Silly willy nilly old bear. Yeah. Thank you.
Wait, yeah.
You didn't know that, did you?
Nope.
You didn't sing that song to your kids?
No.
Okay.
I sang SpongeBob. Lives in the pineapple under the sea. SpongeBob SquarePants.
There you go.
The forest of yellow. You see?
You
got some events. We're going to start back in 1896 when the very first demonstration of the X-ray machine was done in the U.S. in New York City. In 1919, the Bentley Motors was limited. Bentley Motors Limited is founded by Walter Owen Bentley in London, England. 1951, the very first use of the lie detector in the Netherlands, which was also created by a lady.
Wow.
1958.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. 1958, Willie O'Ree was the very first black Canadian National Hockey League player in America, actually in the NHL, and he made his debut for the Boston Bruins in 1958. In 1990, in Washington D.C., man, I was set up. Mayor Marion Barry was arrested in a drug sting.
Oh,
that's what he said when they were. He's like, man, I was set up.
Yeah, you got set up. All right.
He got set up. All right.
He did get set up, but
yeah, he got set up, but he fell for the bait.
Right. Yeah. If he wasn't there, he would have got set up.
Yeah. 1993, the very first time that all 50 states celebrated Martin Luther King Day.
Nice.
Then 2013, Ray Nagin was indicted in the corruption. He was the mayor of New Orleans for the Katrina funds, and he was doing some bad stuff. Then he had some birthdays.
How do you do that, man? That's people in need. People don't have anything. You take the funds from that.
Just take it from them. Yeah. Got some quick birthdays real quick. 1904, yeah, Cary Grant. 1941, David Ruffin. 1954, we have Ted DiBiase. I almost skipped him. And 1858. Today is Daniel Hale Williams. He was performed the first open heart surgery. He was from Pennsylvania, Hollingsburg, Pennsylvania. His birthday is today, 1858. But 1933, Ray Dolby. You know who Ray Dolby is?
No, I don't know who Ray Dolby is.
The noise cancellation that you he's an inventor of that. Today is his birthday, 1933. Nice. 1954, I said Ted DiBiase. 1955, Kevin Costner. 1970, your friend and mine, DJ Quick.
DJ Quick.
1980, my boy Julius Peppers. And 1980, also actor Jason Segel. And this day in history has been brought to you by PhillySportsStrips.com.
You said DiBiase. I thought you were saying Kobayashi.
No,
what movie is that? Kobayashi. Was it a Kobayashi?
Kobayashi was a dude who was the hot dog eater.
No, there was another movie, man. I'm thinking of. There was a Kobayashi.
Ask Ralph. Ralph, what
movie was that? Kobayashi. Oh gosh, it was a good movie too, man. Years ago. I can't think of it. Can't think of it now. If I said the movie, you remember. But I remember Kobayashi. So which game are you looking forward to seeing this weekend, man?
I'm looking forward to seeing it's two games I'm pretty looking for. The Green Bay and San Francisco game.
49ers, yeah.
And then actually three. The Bills and the Kansas City and the Lions versus the Tampa Bay.
You're looking forward to seeing that? I don't think that's going to be a contest at all. I think
it's more the story of the Lions and all my buddies that's on the coaching staff up there.
Okay,
and then my boy Lomas Brown and Herman Mora talking to them.
And that's cool. All I know is that hot dog eater. That's what Ralph said.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, no, that's the dude who was.
There was a movie. The guy's name was a bad guy. It was Kobayashi. Oh man, I can't think of the dog.
Kobayashi is a hot dog eating guy. It's like because he was a character in the Unusual Suspects.
Thank you. Usual
Suspects.
Suspects. Yeah, the Usual Suspects.
Oh,
remember Kobayashi?
Yeah.
Thank you. Who said that? Sean, thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you,
Sean.
brother.
Appreciate that, bro. Thank you. I couldn't remember it because that movie was out some time ago, but that was a good movie too, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Bucs are going to get trounced by the Lions because of all of what, they're excited, 30 years, getting into the playoffs. They're playing well, man. Those cats are balling right now.
Yes, they are.
They're balling right now. Golf is hitting St. Brown, man. Those cats are just they're feeling good. They're happy about what the position they're in, and they're playing. It's like they're playing free.
Yeah, they're playing worry free.
Right.
And it's like they're letting their what is it? Their personalities are showing. They're not playing tight. They're enjoying the game. So.
I think the game, just my opinion, I think the game of this weekend on Saturday is going to be the Texans at the Ravens.
But that's going to be a good one too.
Yeah, both those teams are physical, man. Those cats play hard.
It's now that you mentioned, I guess I'll be trying to catch all of them.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna watch all of them too. They all should be good. I just, like I said, I think the only mismatch in this weekend out of the 4 games is the Lions, or I should say the Bucs at the Lions in Detroit.
And I don't really consider that too much of a mismatch because of the Bucs defense. So it's like if you look at their defense has kept them in pretty much every game.
The Eagles, I think they racked up 250 yards, and they played terrible.
Did we score besides the one time?
No, it didn't score it, but I think that was more on the Eagles than it was the Bucs.
I think so. I think the difference is going to be the offensive coordinator. So
right,
you may be correct.
Right, I think that's more on the Eagles than it was the Bucs. I mean, the Bucs did play good; they played well, but the Eagles played bad, and that's why the score ended up so lopsided. But these Lions, it's a whole different story. It's a whole different animal. These are lions and tigers and bears. They that they're going in there. And again, the Bucs aren't home. They're going up to Detroit. Did you hear what one of the reporters asked?
Yeah, I was wondering.
Todd Bowles, is the weather up there going to affect you guys? You worry about the weather? Todd Bowles said, "You do know they have a dome, don't you?"
It was. You know why it was really bad too? Because it was a lady as she went into an entire dissertation about the weather, and I'm like,
the weather, yeah.
I was like, nobody's gonna correct her. It's like he's sitting up there like this has got to be a joke, right?
Obviously, she shouldn't have been in there. Is what the problem was.
It'd be a lot of people that shouldn't be in there. I was like, but she really showed that she shouldn't be in there because it's like man.
She knows nothing about football because if she doesn't know Detroit. I mean, before they had the new stadium, right? They got a new stadium, right? Before they had the new stadium, the old stadium was a dome.
Yeah. the funny part is like, yeah, it's going to be 13 degrees. How are you going to prepare? I was like, oh man,
we're gonna run from the bus into the dome. So we'll be affected. He said we'll be affected for like 20 seconds.
No, you won't, because they pull the buses inside the dome.
Right. But that's what he said. That's what he said. We're gonna go from the buses to the stadium. We'll be outside about 20 seconds.
If that.
All right, we out of here, man. Listen,
we out of here,
we appreciate everybody being with us and staying with us. Yes, the Eagles season is over, but football season is not over. We are in the playoffs right now. Obviously,
they playing. Everybody else playing now.
Well, we'll be watching other teams in the playoffs. We are not in the playoffs. The season is in the playoffs. Yeah, and we'll be watching other teams, but we will come back every week, y'all, right here on A2D Radio, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. I mean, Thursday. I'm going to say Wednesday. Thursdays at 5 p.m. right here, A2D Radio. This is Vetted. I'm Irving Fryar. That is my co-host right there, Big Dog Hollis Thomas.
Go Birds.
Birds is done, man.
Go Birds.